guys, the first thing you want to do when using this palette is use a really good primer because they do warn you about the staining on the packaging from some colors, but I already did that, so I'm going to put that aside. And the second thing you want to do is get out your Scotch tape and line your eyes, because with this palette it's very important to have a boundary for yourself because of the colors that you're using. So make sure you place it on the back of your hand so that it doesn't hurt your eye whenever you pull it away. So there's one eye, and sometimes the second eye is harder just because you need to line it up with that first eye that you did. So I'm going to do that real quick over here. Make sure you're lining it up as close as you can with the other one. So sometimes you have to pull it off and start over, which is better than fixing it now than doing it and then realizing they aren't even. So that looks pretty good. So you can see it does look a little bit ridiculous, but you do get better at it as time goes on. So I'm just going to curl that over so it's not bugging me. There you go. Looks ridiculous, but the results are worth it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just show you guys this real quick, but I'm sure you all know what it looks like if you're watching this video. Very pretty. You can see I'm putting a dent in some of the colors because I've been using it over the course of the past few weeks. But I'm also going to run through with a natural palette. So I'm going to just stick with my Naked 2 Basics with us for a second, because this way you don't have to be too intimidated with the results. I'm going to do like more of a natural look for you guys to start. And then if you guys like this, I might just like run in with some crazy ones I've been doing. So this is the Naked 2 Basics that I'm using as a highlight. This is the color Skimp. Just run that through the top because you don't want too much color to be at the top of your lid, which is what I ran into that issue whenever I first started using this palette. I would just bring it all up to my brow bone and it just looks ridiculous at that point. So if you want to drag some into the corner also, because you don't want to be dragging that in, the color into the corner too much either. So next I'm going to be using Frisk in this palette, because this is also a look that is going to be a more natural look with this palette that I've been wearing something similar to at school, because you can go really crazy with it, or you can get away with using neutral colors and slapping on some color too. So I'm just buffing this into my crease how I do in all of my videos. Blending is so important for this palette because you don't want any of those lines, because then it does look like paint. It does look very fun and fancy free. But you can also blend and it can still be fun. And then I'm going to take that next darkest shade, which is called Cover, in the Naked 2 Basics, just to make it a little bit darker in the crease as a transition. And today I'm going to be using that blue shade that I've been posting everywhere, all over my Instagram, all over everywhere. So you can see there are some blues and purples that I really like using in this palette. So I'm going to take that Gonzo shade, which is the one by the silver, and just start packing that. There's ridiculous fallout with this palette, but I'm just going to start packing it right at the corner so that it doesn't get brought too far into the corner of my eye. And then blending it up into that natural transition that we have going on so that it blends, but it's not that bright blue that we like at the bottom on the lid. And if you don't make faces when you do your makeup, you're doing it wrong. I'm going to continue on the lid very carefully. And keep in mind that I used the highlight shade and then those two transition shades and then this shade, and you already have the shape that you want and the makeup that you want for this eye without adding 4 other shades. Same to the other side, drag it into that corner. That's where you want most of the pigment to be before you drag everything else out from the inner corner. You can see how you have to just start with layers, because if you just pack it all on, you have less control, especially with these colors. Good luck wiping off an eye look with this and starting over, because you're not going to be able to do it. And sometimes I do open my eye to see like where the shape is, where you want everything. Pulling this in up to that transition shade so that it doesn't look like there are lines, because you want to still blend everything. Even though this palette can be intimidating to a lot of people, you can still wear this pop of color and get away with it still looking natural without looking like a clown. And you can see that everything is pretty blended. Show you up close. And then you want to make sure you get into the corner of your eye, but I'm actually going to go in with silver, so it doesn't matter unless you just want to stop with there, but I always think that pop of silver is really nice. That silver, I use that silver for everything now. So with a different brush, going in to the corners only. Blending it out a little bit just so everything's blended. And you get that touch of silver just in the corners. And then if you want, you can go back in with the Naked 2 Basics or any palette that has neutral shades in it and pull in a darker shade. So I'm going to go in with this darker shade. Clean off a brush here and just pull in some dark for the outer corner. Just so everything blends in. You can see the difference on the eyes, how this one is just a little bit darker. So I'm just pulling that in, just so it's not too blue. And everything is optional, obviously. When were there ever rules? Again, the key is blending, so you can see that it's not too overwhelming with the blue. But you can always add more blue, and you can actually do these steps with other colors in the palette, which is my favorite part. But now I'm going to take off the tape and show you guys those lines that you can have. Ugh, dramatic there. And then I take a makeup remover wipe just to sharpen up those edges. Get any makeup off of your face. This is why I do my eyes first. And now I'm ready to do the rest of my face, so I'll be right back. Okay guys, so this is the finished look that I would do if I did my full face. And the last thing with the eyeshadow that I did add was that blue, that same blue underneath. I just smudged it out and then with a little bit of black eyeliner over it to darken it up how I did the outer corners of my eyes. So if you like this, let me know because I have all those other colors to use. This is just using one color from that palette and I love it. So subscribe.